How do I feel now that the trip is over? Why don't you ask the people about how they felt when Katrina actually left New Orleans? Why don't we talk about that? Because it's about how I feel about how this trip is now that it's over. Uh, it was a train wreck. It was a complete mess. It was horrible.
So you ask me, how do I feel now that this journey is over? Well, I'm not a woman, but if I was, I would probably compare this journey to childbirth. And, I'm sure when a woman finally has the child, I'm sure she's pretty exhilarated that the whole labor thing is over, because that's what this entire journey with Todd has been like. It's been like giving birth for 12 days.
What What was the one thing that was the greatest part about this journey? There was about a 3 hour time span where I was not around Chris. That was pretty much my greatest moment on this entire journey, where I didn't have to hear his voice anymore. Because Lord knows we've all seen enough videos to listen to that voice. Whoa, overwhelming. Can we chill with the Chris voice for right now?
What's the greatest memory of this trip? I think this entire trip has been so immensely traumatic that I think my mind is going into a survival mode, and I'm having a hard time remembering anything great about this trip. I cannot remember one single great thing about this trip. It was awful. Everything was awful. So anything that was good, I mean, it's I can't even remember it. So that, I mean, I don't. Is that a loaded question?
Oh, the worst moment of this entire trip? Listening to Chris's mouth during the Russellville, Arkansas mosquito massacre.
What is the worst thing about this trip? The worst thing was Todd. He continually was asking me to tell him stories. I think he wanted to hear my voice. I mean, it was kind of creepy. We'd be laying in our hammocks at night, and he would ask me, Chris, tell me a story, dude. I need to hear your voice. I'm scared. It's dark. Can you? And it was like, dude. I mean, that's really creepy, bro. That was like honestly one of the worst things of the entire trip.
Would I ever do this again? Absolutely. No. Okay, maybe. Uh, is Chris gonna be there?
What what did you just ask? You asked me if I would ever do this again? Come on, dude. Like, are you seriously? You're asking me if I'd ever do this again? Dude, listen, man. There's no way I would never recommend this, especially with Todd. Um, no, no, I would never do this again. What are you thinking?
What is my future from this point going forward? How about finding new friends to travel with? That'd be a starter. Um, Holy cow. My future, I'm not even sure there is a future. I mean, I just hitchhiked across the United States with Chris Stewart. I'm pretty sure I don't have a future.
What is my future from this point forward? You know, I I honestly do not think I'm ever going to have a future after this. I know we posted so many videos on this thing, and the entire thing, all those videos, it was a lie. And I've lived a lie for the past 14 days, and I really don't know if I can live with myself like that anymore. I don't think I have a future from this point forward. I think this trip has destroyed my future. I don't think I don't think anybody realizes this, but I think Todd may have like an addiction to social media. All he does is text and text and text, and we'll be out on the side of the road trying to get a ride, and nobody is going to pick you up when you're looking in your phone, and it's horrible. All he's doing is texting. Now I don't know who he's texting or what he's doing, or if he's on Facebook. Sometimes I think he's actually playing Candy Crush.
Hang on, one second, one second. Oh, Yep. Send. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. What was the question? Oh yeah. So I walk into the bedroom and I'm like, "Hey, Chris, have you seen my chapstick?" And he turns around and he's applying chapstick, like Marilyn Monroe going to the funeral of JFK. I mean, he's just like, oh, I'm like, dude, that's my chapstick. What are you doing with my chapstick? Why didn't you just, like, ask if I had chapstick? Or, I mean, now, but you know what? Hey, karma bites yourself in the ass, doesn't it? Because now, Chris, you, my friend, have herpes, simplex 12, all over your lips. Yep, that's right.
We're out in the desert, and we've been out in the desert for 3 days, and we're practically lost in the desert. We're like 100 miles north of the Mexico border in the middle of the American desert. And, my lips are sunburnt, and, I thought he was like being super cool with me. And he's like, hey, bro, here's some chapstick, here's some chapstick. It'll keep the sun off your lips. And I'm like, all right, thanks, bud. And I put the chapstick on my lips, and now look at my lips. So how was the trip, dude? I mean, I think it was probably one of the most enlightening experiences I ever had in my life. I mean,
absolutely.
I couldn't have had a better travel partner.
Yeah, I agree.
We got along from day one.
Yep. We never had one argument. We never had one misunderstanding.
Dude, if he fell down, I picked him up.
Yeah.
If I fell down, he picked me up.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, really, dude. I mean, we're actually talking about maybe doing this again next year. Maybe going up and down the East Coast.
He says next year. We're talking like next month.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to do this. Doing all the social media stuff, it was great. It worked out really good.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on social media.
Yeah.
Just reaching out to people, trying to get two vets, one cause.
We'd have never got rides if you wouldn't have really been putting forth that effort.
And I agree with that, but I think that it all boils down to the video production that you were doing, of sending out that kind of quality where people put us at the top of the YouTube list, if you will. That was really all up to you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that? What do we have planned for the future?
What do we have planned?
Dude, I mean, honestly, I think we're just going to continue to do this. I mean, we haven't seen each other in 26 years, and this trip has really brought us. I mean, we really meshed.
Yeah.
I mean, it brought us together.
Absolutely.
I mean, this trip was so enlightening for both of us. I mean, it was almost spiritual.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know about you, bro, but I mean, I would honestly compare this. I'm not a woman, but I would honestly compare this with the miracle of childbirth.
Yes.
And they must get such a sense of reward and accomplishment in bringing somebody into the world, and us doing this trip was so enlightening that that's really the only comparison that I can make.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we accomplished pretty much the same feeling of what it's like to give birth to a child over and over and over again, probably 25 times over the last 12 days.
Yeah. What was the worst thing about the trip? I don't know, man. I mean,
what was the worst thing about the trip?
Honestly, I think probably the worst part of the trip was when we were split up for about. I think there was that time that we were split up and we took a break and we were split up for about 3 hours, and to me, dude, it was like I lost a friend. I mean, it was really tough being away from you for those 3 hours.
I really didn't want to talk about those 3 hours because actually that's one of the worst things about the trip that keeps haunting me in my back of my mind is, like, I spent so many hours with you that I was able to always communicate with you and hear your voice, and then that 3 hours where I couldn't hear your voice, and I felt completely alone for the first time during the trip. And
when you'd reach out to me and you'd talk to me, like when we were at that park at night and we're sleeping in our hammocks, and you'd like reach out to me, and I was like 10 feet away, and you were like, Chris, dude, that was humbling, for you to trust me to like kind of help you through that, with the mosquitoes and all that, and just hearing your voice empowered me and made me feel good. And I want you to know that, man.
I appreciate that. I feel that the feelings is exactly mutual. I mean, I couldn't have made it through the last 12 days without hearing your voice every night. Good night, Todd.
Yeah, dude, that was the best.
Yeah,
man.
it was
Yeah, man.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.